What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Wars in the Stars, episode number 98. Today, I'm joined, as always, by my pristine and fantastic co-host, Alex. Alex, how we doing today?
Good. During that countdown, I was having a lot of struggles to try and find this Twitter account.
Oh man, I hate when that happens.
It's all right. I found it.
Yeah. Have you tried the Instagram Threads thing at all, or have you heard about this? Or
I literally just heard about it because Elon Musk said Instagram was copying Twitter.
yes, I just heard about it myself as well.
It's funny because I like how he's trying to go off that Twitter is a unique thing. Like the red websites weren't a thing when the internet started.
Right. I mean, it's just like it's. To be fair, I don't think his app is. It's not that complex.
It's not. I mean, Twitter is also in a absolute like shithole right now. I don't know if you heard about the news that Elon did to Twitter.
Right, the rate limit thing, right?
Yeah, where you at one point you were only able to, I think, for those who did not pay for Twitter Blue, I think you were only able to view like 400 tweets, and then
Right.
600, and then 800, and I don't know what the rate is now.
I think the thing is that when it was like you're scrolling. If you just scrolled by it, it counted.
Yeah,
I think they've changed it since to like if you click on the tweet, because I haven't had it happen to me.
I haven't either. I know there are people speed running to see how fast they can do it.
Yes, but like I haven't had it happen to me. I don't know what it was. You can think what you want about Elon and Zuckerberg. I really don't care. Whatever. But like, it's weird. Just keep like, it's not like I would say the app, honestly, and it's something our generation doesn't use a lot. Is I think the app I use the most, if any, is Twitter.
Yeah, it's just kind of because that's where like a good central reading news hub is.
Correct.
Like TikTok, you have to watch videos and consume it. Instagram, nobody uses Instagram for news.
Right.
And Twitter is just like, I don't know. It's just like, it feels more convenient. To describe Twitter, it is the app that I go through when I'm taking a shit. It's my scroller app. Just scroll, scroll. Just read.
Yeah.
It's that or TikTok. So
TikTok just annoys me now.
TikTok like not community. TikToks are fun, but normal community like Star Wars and Marvel, no, absolutely not.
I don't get like I unfollowed like literally every single Star Wars and Marvel like person. So like I don't get any of that anymore. Do you still get that? Because does it pop up on my FYP at all? Or
it's rare and rare that it happens. It's really rare that it happens.
Mine is just I don't even know what mine is now. Mine is like I don't even know what mine is, honestly.
The problem that these like Star Wars and Marvel TikTok, the conversations are just so dry at this point that it's just like, just stop at this point. Like,
I mean, I still get like Soups or like Straw Hat, but that's about it. Yeah. And those two guys, who are those two guys with the podcast? You know who I'm talking about? Guy with the hat and guy who wears the Superman thing. They have, you know who I'm talking about, right?
It's Spider-Man, but I get you.
What did I say?
You said Superman.
Oh, Spider-Man. You know what I meant. God damn it. I've had a long day here.
It's all right.
You know who I'm talking about. Yeah.
But yeah. It's sorry, I just read an Anthony Mackie quote talking about the actor strike that's potentially going to happen.
Oh, did you see what I tagged you in something, or like I tweeted? Did you see that?
On what?
What he said on Twitter. I made a tweet, responded.
about the actor
Yes,
strike being a shit show and how they're gonna have to get a bunch of YouTubers to make Avengers 5.
yes. And then I said, here, let me pull my tweet up.
I didn't see what you
Uh,
said. Did you quote tweet or just
I,
reply?
no, it should be on my. Why can't I see
Oh
it?
my god! Even Mr. Beast responded to it.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Uh, oh, there we go. Profile. Uh, here, I did. Let me pull this up. Oh, whoops, wrong thing. Here, I said this. I said, hey.
Yeah,
I said,
exactly. No, I didn't get this notification.
let us cook.
Let us cook. I
Let us
agree.
cook. We would cook.
We would.
Let me write Kane. You can have the rest.
I'll have everyone else.
I'll just write Kane. That's it.
God, this drink sucks.
Is it really that? What is it? Is it like sweet sour or what is it?
It's sour. It's the blue raspberry sour patch. It's my manager literally said because he's kind of going through it right now in his personal life, and so I
Right.
thought it would be nice one day to just bring him because he loves these drinks, just to bring him a
Yes.
few. And I asked him which ones he wanted, and he specifically said he wanted this one. He said it's his favorite one. It tastes so good, and I was like, oh, I trust his intellect on food and drinks.
Okay.
Yeah, that trust got thrown out the window when I first
He
sipped
did
this.
not cook.
No, no. Maybe we should like take him out of the kitchen. Get where's Gordon
Okay.
Ramsay at?
Okay.
That's who I need.
Um, do we want to talk about Secret Invasion?
Of course. I think me and you got different opinions on this already.
I mean, man, I've got to say, I like it, but I'm never gonna love this show. I could just already tell.
See,
Um,
okay. But see, here's the thing is that I actually thought this episode was really good.
I'm
I
not
thought
disagreeing.
I thought it was really good, but I'm kind of in that mindset that I'm just like I think the show is really good, but I'm never going to put it in my top 3 shows. Even if I
I
know to my core it's probably written better, directed better, edited better, CGI is better, all that, not for me.
I mean, my thing with this is again, I think, and I don't want to give too much of my thoughts because I have a question of the week I want to do next week.
Oh, boy.
But my thing with these Disney Plus shows is that they just, because you can kind of tell. Somebody brought up a good point here. Anytime we see like a scroll transformation, right? It's in like dark lighting usually,
Yeah.
right? Again, that's a trick to not show it. A lot of this stuff show is in pretty dark lighting. Um, Again, kind of a trick. Like when they de-aged Nick Fury, it was all like in a shadow in a back room. Again, it is a TV budget. I get that. My thing is just I don't care about these characters.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't made me care about these characters.
Yeah. Kind of that's the crux of it. As again, and we repeated this. We said this literally last week, but
Right.
it bears repeating again this week. I feel like they think we have seen 30 movies with these guys, and we've only seen like one with Talos where he was prominently featured.
Right.
3 with Fury where he was prominently featured. 4 maybe.
Right.
You got Iron Man 1, 2,
But also
Avengers, Ultron.
like that Fury thing like literally has
5.
nothing, like literally
Yeah,
nothing to do with this.
it feels like they're not recalling back any moments from his past.
Winter Soldier. Like Winter Soldier is like my opinion, he has
Yeah,
a
yeah,
pivotal, like very pivotal in Winter Soldier.
yeah.
Uh,
And so it's just it feels weird. It feels like these were meant to be different people. I
this
don't
was a
know.
Captain Marvel sequel that was just written into a television show without
Yeah.
Captain Marvel. I saw somebody say that. I don't remember who it was, and I think they're right. I honestly think they're right.
Mm. It feels like this show got Kenobi'd. It was supposed to be a movie. and was turned into a show.
But I don't know about that because it was originally announced as a show like a long time ago, like Disney Investor Day.
Mm, but I say that though, but it's just like you can very much see where they're dragging their feet with the show in
Right,
aspects. You can feel it. You can feel that like this Gravik plan. This has taken a long time to happen.
right,
What's really stopping him? Because it's he Gravik in this episode. He like when he talks to Talos, he's like, I could have sent your daughter back in a body bag. It's just like, okay, well, why haven't you? Because the show would be over if you did. But
right.
it's just like,
He could have killed Talos like right there. He literally
yeah,
has all his spies in the room with him.
yeah. It's just kind of like he like the show just feels like a drag at this point.
Hmm.
Not a drag, but it feels like the show is being artificially extended.
Right.
And so that's kind of the problem. That's kind of one of the some of the major problems with it is that I don't feel uber connected to the main characters, and the show feels like it should have been a movie. A
Yeah.
very very common occurrence for these MCU shows.
Again, let's look at shows that are we'll say mostly universally liked. And the list is very far and few in between for your face. For
Sorry,
Marvel.
it
It's
like dude,
okay.
it like sends a shock down my body.
As much as I don't like the show, WandaVision is really loved.
Mm.
Right? What's the common theme there? These are characters we've been with for 4 or 5 years. Loki. Literally a character we've been with for 10 years, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Falcon, I give kind of a pass because like the plot of that show was destroyed because of the actual pandemic we had. That whole show is supposed to be centered around a
Yeah,
pandemic,
and you
and
couldn't do
also it
that.
was side characters, but it should have been more important. That one's a weird one. Hawkeye, okay.
It certainly happened.
She-Hulk,
It certainly happened.
Miss Marvel,
Was good, but certainly happened.
and I would say Moon Knight's the exception. Moon Knight's a new character, but it just focused on him. It was like an interesting story just
Yeah,
about him, and it had like a really weird, real world, right? DID, but with a fantastical twist on it, like a
yeah.
little fit, in that hero's journey. It was unique and new.
Mm,
I would say the most unique thing they've done in a while, but
yeah,
this feels again. It's a superhero show that doesn't have a superhero.
yeah, yeah. And anytime we do see a superhero, he's not in the suit.
Not in the suit.
Yeah. The problem that I also find with it is it's just like right now they introduce the Super Scrolls into this episode.
Correct.
Man, you got like they picked the most boring things to transform into. Like Extremis, Groot, Cole Obsidian, the random ice dog from Thor.
Yeah, the Frost Beast. Yeah.
It's just kind of like the problem is look, this show
The
had
powers in the comics are so cool too. They're literally the Fantastic Four.
yeah. The problem this show had out from the gate was that it was based on a very iconic comic run.
Right.
It was never going to live up to that. The
No.
moment that you decided that a side character was meant to be the centerpiece of a Fantastic Four story was the moment that you doomed your show to fail. And then to make matters worse, you give a Fantastic Four reference with the powers that they can have. You have the Extremis being the connection to Johnny Blaze, the
Mm-hmm.
stretch from Groot to Mr. Fantastic, the bruteness of Cole Obsidian, and then you can make a case that the Ice Dog can be semi-transparent, translucent. Give it a shout out to my boy
Sure. We'll go with
Translucent.
it. We'll go with it. Yeah.
But like still there for the Invisible Woman. So it's just like, come on, you're doing really like you're teasing really bad. And
Yeah,
so you like, come on. And it's also, it's like really bad because three, like, come on. If we're not supposed to get the Fantastic Four from the people or from those powers, I don't get what else were we supposed to get?
right.
And so it's just like, I don't know. This show I feel like is trying to do a lot that the fans want, but not with the people we want them to do it with.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. Um, my thing, and I think we could talk about specifics of the episode. Okay, I like this whole thing with his wife, right? What's the wife's
Mm.
name?
Oh, I don't even know.
Priscilla. Is it Priscilla?
Oh, see, Scylla, Scylla, something like that.
Nick Fury's wife will refer to her as. Oh, not you, Siri. I
It's
thought it. My computer thought I said, "Hey Siri."
S
But anyways,
yeah,
I,
SCILLA.
yes, I have not been introduced to her at all, and then within 5 minutes, I'm just like, "Oh, she's a spy," and it's like so painfully obvious. I'm like that. Like even a like
Yeah,
7-year-old could figure this out.
yeah. It's again. I feel like the problem that the show again goes down is the show is so predictable. It's very crazy. Another thing, the best way that I can describe this show, it's one step forward, one step backward. Soon as it
Right.
starts to do something really good, it takes a step back, and you're just like, "What the hell? That was really cool." And then it starts to do another interesting thing, and then it goes off and does something else, and you're just like, "Dude, what the hell?"
Right.
That is the best way to describe Secret Invasion.
Yeah, I agree.
We are at a very very bad standstill of a good show, and that's it. That is all that I can describe the show as. The show again, when I look for whether it's video games, comics, TV, movie, manga, anything in life, the big thing, and I had this conversation with a manager at my job when we were talking about Star Wars, and we were having this conversation about like, what's your hot takes, and I said that as much as I love A New Hope, to me, I said it's probably near not the bottom, but like the middle bottom of my list. And
Okay.
I said, but what gets it to that point, what the big thing is that is was a revolutionary movie.
Right.
And I said something that no other Star Wars movie will ever be able to be is revolutionary. They are evolutionary. That is why the preferred way to show everybody the movies is in release order. You see the evolution of Star
Mm-hmm.
Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what Secret Invasion is to a core. It is evolution. It is not revolution. This show does not feel grand. It does not feel major. It's not Loki. It's not WandaVision. It's not these shows that are so revolutionary in their takes of the characters they show us.
Right.
It's evolutionary. This is just Winter Soldier 2.0, or this is Falcon and the Winter Soldier 2.0, or this is Captain Marvel 2.0. This isn't Secret Invasion 1.0. That is
Right.
like this just feels like a continuation of another story.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think this show just suffers from similar problems. I like Ravik, but he's
Mm-hmm.
just
He's
he's he's not moving the pendulum for me.
yeah, it's like
He's not moving the bar too much.
yeah. It's one of those things that like one of our problems always with these villains is like, well, there's no stakes, or there's no like care, like their motives don't make sense. His motives make sense.
Right.
We understand why he is the way that he is, but he's not interesting.
Nah.
That
He
it'd
himself
be
has not done enough to make
yeah,
himself interesting or terrifying. I get that the scrolls themselves are super compelling. You just that let's in layman's terms, they're able to shapeshift. That's massive for
yeah,
a race that cannot detect it at all. We could not detect it at all. We already know that they've infiltrated high levels of government. They were about to shoot down a United Nations plane. And again, another weird thing. Again, to go along the point where they're kind of just dragging this along to be 6 episodes. World War III should have happened already.
Yeah.
Um, they're like, "Oh, this will cause World War III." I'm like, have you guys done like enough to have World War III
Mhm.
happen?
Yeah. It to me again, I'm just like I'm kind of at this point where I'm just like I feel like the show should just be over by this point.
Yeah, and I think they should just start like doing that, man. Like it doesn't
I
have to be sex. Like
Yeah,
Werewolf by Night's a great example. It's
great
just
example of like
40
what
minutes.
yeah, 40 minutes. Give it to even better. Give it an hour and 45 minutes.
It could
A
be an
short,
hour and 45-minute movie on Disney Plus.
yeah, that just gives us the basic things of the series because I guarantee you I did not need to see a whole like what I don't even remember how much it was of Fury and Talos breaking into this house.
Right.
This feels like wasting my time.
I honestly think that's the way they need to go, but I want to save that for next week's conversation.
But
But
but the thing is though is like the only reason they won't is money.
that's true. That's true. And also,
I
like,
I bet Werewolf by Night was probably one of the lowest grossing projects from Disney Plus
all I
from
know is one
Marvel.
of the least viewed.
Yeah, but I guarantee but I think I would be almost in the majority when I say it's probably one of the best.
Yeah, it's very good for what it is. Yeah, it's very good for what it is. Yes, I 100% agree with that. And the other thing is too is if you just release one movie, it's not going to keep subscribers. You know, they drag these shows out for 6 weeks to
Yeah,
keep people on
to get
for
that
two
second month.
months,
Yeah,
right? So there's obviously a business aspect to it, but it, the, I don't know, man. Like I'm interested. Like it's good. Like the writing's pretty solid. The details to characters and the intricacy is there, especially with Fury
yeah,
and Talos. I think have been good. Mendelsohn and Samuel L. Jackson have turned in good performances. Amelia Clark's been great. The gentleman who plays Gravik, I don't know who it is, has been fantastic. Um, there's nothing like inherently bad with the show. It's just not my forte, and I don't think it's a lot of people's forte when they're looking for a good comic book story. I think that's just it. I think if this is, and this is the thing I think even with Andor, if like Andor is not Star Wars and Andor is not in the Star Wars universe, I think a lot more Star Wars fans like it as just its own thing. I think
yeah.
Secret Invasion, if it's just a spy espionage alien invasion blend that has nothing to do with the MCU,
Mhm.
people will like it more.
Yeah,
And I think that's just where we're at.
yeah. Again, I think the thing with the MCU right now is that it's dying. It's dying for something to be a major success,
Right.
and it's just not getting it. It's
Hmm.
just not getting it. And I applaud Marvel for wanting to take more risks. I applaud them. I do think the show was a risk because you don't have you're those marquee characters to lead the show, but high risk, high reward, high risk, low reward too. So it's like
Right.
I'm almost positive when I say this that I think Secret Invasion is probably the least viewed of any of the recent Disney Plus shows across the
Well,
Star Wars Marvel banner.
I know they released the ratings for episode 1, I believe, and it was only higher than Miss Marvel. It was like it was Samba TV over a 5-day period. It was 990,000, and Miss Marvel had 200,000 less.
Yeah,
But that's not a good trend because the more recent shows have been lower. That's not a good trend
yeah,
considering. And I know Disney Plus has had a hard time growing, It actually loses money for the company, and Netflix is experiencing this. But
Mhm.
the subscriber base is still growing, just not as big as they thought.
Mm.
So to have less people watching is still not a good. It's not good at all.
Yeah.
Um,
The problem again is that again Disney, Marvel, Star Wars are really good at making evolutionary projects. They're not making revolutionary. Because I can guarantee you this: later on this year, probably around November, December time, The Boys season 4 is coming out. And how
right,
much do you want to bet that Amazon Prime subscriptions skyrocket when that happens?
right,
Because The Boys was revolutionary.
yes,
It was finally, what if we followed a twisted superhero, and
right.
we got that, and it's brilliant. It's
Well,
brilliant written, all that.
it's real world implications. It's really
Yeah,
the boys really asked the question: is what if politicians had superpowers? That's basically what it
yeah,
asked.
yeah, basically. And again, that show, revolutionary.
Right.
The
Especially
Invincible,
considering those comics aren't
not
well,
good. They are not
yeah,
good. Another
renowned,
show, Invincible,
Right.
revolutionary. It
For
took
its animation, yeah.
for the animation side was revolutionary. Was, oh, what is this about this like no names like comic run? What are they gonna do? And then bam, they had the entire world caught by storm. And
Right.
now season 2 is one of the most anticipated things for the next 2 years.
Yep.
And again, I also look, Moon Knight, in my opinion, was revolutionary. It took a spin on a real world mental problem
Right.
and spun it to fit the fantasy world that Marvel is.
Hmm.
WandaVision was revolutionary because it took the twist of a now broken psyche of a superhero,
Right.
and how losing your grasp on reality can affect you.
Right.
But again, Secret Invasion doesn't get that because it's like you said, and it's like I say, and I even feel this way about Andor, and you know how much I love that show.
Right.
The problem with Andor is it's not revolutionary; it is evolutionary. Because
Yes.
the one of the big problems with the show is if you are able to, if like strip it down from its franchise and just put a different franchise or completely new franchise on top, and it's better or just as good, then that's not a good thing
Right.
inherently about your
Right.
show. I think for something like Andor, I think that's different because I think in the context in and out of Star Wars it works. But
Yes.
for this show, it needed to fit in the context of the MCU, and I got to be honest, I don't feel like it does.
I 100% agree. I want to talk about a couple things from the episode. Um, I want to first discuss. We already touched a little bit on the Super Scroll thing. We briefly see that in this episode.
Yeah,
Uh, Rhodey. Rhodey is a scroll. We figure out in this episode. It's not said, but that's his voice at the end of the episode. We agree on that.
hmm
Did they? I don't think they expected us to think that was a plot twist, or maybe they did. I think they might have.
captions
But
just called him man, so
every indication they've given is that he is a squirrel. Like they have given literally every indication that he's a squirrel. Him firing Nick Fury, that's like
yeah,
nothing Rhodey would do. It's just like a character. And again, it's like Rhodey's a scroll. I'm like, okay, so like what what? Like who
guess that
cares?
guess that moment in Endgame didn't matter.
The only thing I care about now, it doesn't have anything to do with the story at hand. It's just that when did he become a scroll? That's the only thing I care about. I don't
Mm,
care about his involvement. I don't care about the scroll that he is.
yeah,
Uh, the only twist that would blow my mind is if it was Talos's wife, and that wouldn't even like blow my mind that much.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like the only thing I care about is it's like when was Rhodey a scroll? Like how long has he been a scroll for? That's the only thing I care about. Not like what he's like.
Yeah.
what's actually happening within the story itself.
Mm. Yeah, just like again, the show's just super predictable. For a show that's supposed to be about how unpredictable the world they are in is right now, it's a very predictable show.
Right.
And so, unfortunately, kind of a negative of the show. Again, one step forward, one step back.
Absolutely.
It's not quite at that level of one step forward, two steps back, or two steps forward, one step back. It's just again, it goes forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Just kind of evens itself out.
I will give credit. I think there's some really good dialogue in this episode.
Really good. Again, the writing is really good for the show.
Yes.
But man, I wish these were other characters who we were following. That would make it just a little bit more interesting.
I think the conversation between Gravik and Talos is my favorite moment. When Gravik is just like egging Talos on about his daughter, and he keeps mentioning his daughter's Talos's daughter's name. And it's just a really good philosophical discussion about, what is the best way to take this group of scrolls, or at basically their end. There's only 1 million of them left that we know of. They're basically at their end, and we have this extremist who really, like, I think his motives, unlike the Flag Smashers, who we compare them to a lot, right? Because this show is kind of similar in tone to Falcon and Winter Soldier. There are very clear motives that Gravik has, and it's like 100% reasonable for him to be upset at Fury for not finding a home in 30 years. That's like 100% reasonable.
Mm.
And it's 100% reasonable for him to go back to the warrior ways when they were fighting the Kree.
Yeah.
And I think that whole philosophical discussion and just the intensity around it, and then realizing Talos is surrounded, was really cool and really interesting. And also the whole subplot really of the episode was Gravik finding the mole. And the mole obviously being Amelia Clark's, I don't know her name. What's the daughter's name? Gaia, right? I thought that whole subplot was interesting. But so those are the two takeaways I had. I think the dialogues. And then Fury and Talos's conversation.
Yeah.
Where basically Talos is like, "Hey, you're in the position you are because of me, and because of the scrolls. So I want to hear what you thought about, the dialogue, and what did you think about those and the kind of the reveals from them? Yeah.
Again, thought it was all really solid. Just again, it's hard to care right now.
Right.
Looking for that that kind of cowboy rope for me to grab onto. I thought the stuff with the Gaia as the mole, predictable, but still good. I thought the conversation with Talos and Fury was really funny, but really like down to a beat, like really real.
Right.
It's one of those things that like happens a lot more than what people will realize in our own real world. That a lot of these people who are at these positions are there because of others.
Right. Absolutely.
And they just reap the benefits. And so, it was weird because you see Fury just kind of beat when it comes to that logic.
Right.
Kind of takes a moment and is like, he's kind of right.
Oh, he's absolutely right.
Yeah. And then, the break into that one guy's house was fun. Didn't need to be included, but was fun. And I also thought the reveal that both were scrolls was funny. Because it's just like, because what I'm thinking of is like, we have to remember that the scrolls are operating in nuclear zones, basically.
Right.
So you have to think the people that they are miming as are definitely dead because they're in nuclear zones. And humans can't live in those.
Right. Yeah, which is interesting. So like are these scrolls, my theory, they just go to random like cities, just like one at a time, and then just murking somebody,
Hmm.
miming, and then taking them back to, or they're not killing them, right? Because they have them alive still technically, because they have
Yeah.
the mind like probe thing.
Mm.
So how are they just kidnapping people, I guess?
I guess. I guess that's
But
a
how
good
did
way
it
to do it.
start is my thing. Like how did like the first, like it's so random.
Will we ever figure that out? Who knows? These
Um
important details, you feel like we would find out, but you know,
it's okay. It's
it's all right.
okay.
We got 3 episodes. We got 3 episodes. They could prove us wrong. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Um it's really just yeah, the fight that I'm just like, and then Tallow, I mean, again, Mendelsohn and like Samuel L. Jackson, great. Like
Yeah.
great chemistry, like that their banter, like them joking with each other. When the guy they have the guy who is gonna send the order in to kill
Mm.
the United Nations plane. That whole banter was good. The reveal that Talos could have worked with Gravik and that he chose Fury, uh, very good scene. But again, kind of like we've seen that. We've seen indications of why Talos wouldn't
Yeah.
go and work with Gravik. So I didn't need that, right? That's like a thing you didn't need to tell me. I could figure that out. The show
Yeah.
does a good job of showing. Uh, it does a
Yeah.
very good job of showing, and it does a very good job of subtly showing through dialogue. Like I think an important thing with dialogue, and I think you would agree with me as somebody who likes to write, is dialogue can tell you stuff, right? It can be slightly expository, but it can be subtle in the
Hmm.
way it's said, right? I think an important thing about dialogue, especially when you write it, when you think about writing something, you think about the way it's going to be said, right? I think that's a crucial thing. So, I, my larger point here is I just think that the show has done a good job with its dialogue of not being so overt and thinking the audience is stupid and like directly saying it. It's been subtle enough and been spoken and acted well enough where
Hmm.
like you can understand the nuances.
Yeah. I agree. It's one of those things, man. Again, where I'm so harping on this one step forward, one step back. This is something that we've all been asking for Marvel, for Star Wars, for just these Disney Plus shows. Is, man, we need a lot more of show don't tell, and we're getting it. But man, this was not the show to start doing this because man, it's like, where was all the show don't tell for like every other show? But yeah, again, where I stand with this show is I think it's unapologetically good, and
Okay.
that's it.
Okay. It's also like
Like,
a tough show to talk about because it's just generally not a lot to talk about.
yeah, it's not a lot to talk about because the big problem, and again, this is why this is just Falcon and the Winter Soldier 2.0. It's talking about really real events.
Right.
Threat of World War III, what was it, in 2020, was really real. I think it was 2020. It might have been 21. I don't remember.
Are we talking like when, like at the start of Russia's? Can I even say this on YouTube? Russia's invasion of Ukraine,
That too, yeah, that
like
too.
the start of that, or are we talking about? Am I missing something? Oh yeah.
It was like I think like right before the start of the pandemic, there was that thing where like I don't know, we were beefing with Russia for over something.
Oh yeah. Well, that happens all the time. Let's be honest here. That happens all
Yeah,
the time.
but no, it was like really serious beef.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
more.
I know. I get it.
It was more than Twitter beef between whoever president was at the time and Mr. Putin. Um, that's all I call this, by the way. I call any drama between like international affairs across the world. It's just bad Twitter drama.
Just bad. Just very, very deadly Twitter drama.
Yeah, it's kind of like those people. They're like, I don't know. You didn't play video games like I did, but like
No,
those
I didn't.
people like Call of Duty who'd be like, "My dad works at Activision. I'm gonna have him ban you." That's what's gonna happen. Is one day it's gonna be like, I'm gonna tell my head of military, whatever that position's called. I'm gonna have him nuke your home, and then he's gonna actually do it. Like that's the kind of funny Twitter.
That's our generation. We're gonna have a president like that.
Oh
Imagine
my god!
We have a video game president.
Could you imagine, bro? It's what 2030 something, and we have a president and his first speech to the nation. Yeah, bro. I'm gonna make sure Russia and us. So I'm gonna make sure we finna don't like blow each other up. Like that's the kind of stuff we're gonna hear.
Oh man. No cap, man. No cap. No cap.
No cap, man. Putin was speaking some weird stuff. Someone got to go give that man that vibe check.
He's got OD Riz.
Yeah, bro. He got OD Riz. Let's see him riz up this rocket I'm gonna send at him. Like that's it's fun. We're joking about it, but it's really real.
It's probably gonna happen. Yes,
it's like gonna happen. But hey, I'd rather have that than the old people we currently have running our show.
That's fair. Do you have
funny.
anything else you want to bring up? Oh, go ahead.
No, because when you started talking, I lost my train of thought. So, anything else you want to bring up? No. Kind of the problem with the show, though.
I can't believe we talked about that for 30 minutes. I have one more thing I want to bring up.
Oh,
I saw new rock stars. It was a TikTok thing. He said that there are 2 Nick Furies.
Why?
There's one that's doing the work with Gravik, and then there's one, or not doing the work with Gravik, but that sounded wrong. Doing like this. There's one who is working closely with Talos.
Okay.
Because there's one with he has slight. It's all due to the fact that, like, you know how Fury has a couple different looks in the show. One with glasses, one without.
Yeah.
He thinks there are 2 Nick Furies, one having glasses, the other not.
That's
one of them's a scroll.
I would hope it's a scroll, not a clone. That's certainly a theory. Certainly a theory.
I'm butchering it, but basically that's what it is. There's 2 Nick Furies. One's a scroll and one's actually Nick Fury.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That would be a cool twist.
Cool, yeah. Not unexpected, but
be cool. Yeah. I think the only thing that would be unexpected is if, like, you'd have to do like an end credit scene, but it'd be so random. It was just some Avenger that was a scroll the whole time.
Yeah, it would need to be big. It would need to be like bonkers. That I would need that. I would need that kind of twist. Like I would actually have to be like thrown for a loop.
Right.
So.
Right, I agree. Okay. Oh, what would you give the episode?
7 out of 10.
I'd give it a 7 out of 10 as well. So.
Good episode.
Good. Just not a lot.
Good. It was really good, but just not a major talking point.
No. Okay. Alex, we're bringing this segment back. I like this segment a lot. It brings productive discussion. We're bringing back question of the week. Alex, It's your turn. What is your question of the week?
If we only waited 50 more seconds, we could have had this perfectly timed out for 45 minutes.
Ah, boo.
So it's all right.
That's my fault, folks.
Listen. When Drew proposed bring question of the week back, I thought I would have to consider it, but then my 4 a.m. thoughts, they came to me. They talked to me, and it totally wasn't the fact that like I was laughing at these movies flopping in the box office.
Okay.
Not at all. No, not at all. But the question that I have, and I'm not trying to drag this out for 10 more seconds. Let me get a sip of my really good drink. I'm literally... Okay. Question is, in the recent years, we have seen more and more films in the box office flop. Drew, why do you think this is, and what major factors do you believe contribute the most?
So this conversation is obviously going to be lengthy. So there's going to be multiple points to this, right?
Yeah, and I also want to point out something, by the way. I think I'm having deja vu because I think I asked this like 40 or 50 episodes ago.
Maybe. I can't remember,
I don't
honestly.
I don't remember. But yes, lengthy discussion. And I'm gonna and by the way, I got receipts with me.
Oh,
I got receipts. So where do you want to start this? Do you want to start this at like bringing up some receipts? Do you want to think a lot? Do you want to give some opinions? Like
I just want to give some of my opinions, and then you can back me up with facts, maybe here, or like
all right, okay. Yep.
the obsession for movie studios to continually bring back legacy characters and not create new content.
Yep.
This most recently with Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny. I'm not the biggest Indiana Jones fan, but that original trilogy, those first three movies, are fantastic. And the fourth one, I can never remember their names. The fourth one had a really good ending, like very end, like a good solid ending story. But the
Mm,
last 20 minutes of that movie with the alien stuff, not good. Dial of Destiny, I have not seen, so I'm not going to speak on it, the movie
right.
itself. But I will say, the box office for a $300 million film that, mind you, was delayed multiple times due to COVID, due to Harrison Ford getting injured,
Hmm.
by all accounts, is a flop. And
Oh yes.
critically is not doing so well. And
Yes.
even by the audience, I would say. The audience has mixed reviews on it.
Yes.
It's also another example, and this is specific to kind of Lucasfilm here.
Hmm.
They've brought back a plethora of legacy characters, Luke Han and Indiana Jones. And I'm gathering this from people who watch Dial of Destiny. The common thread with those three characters, you know what it is, Alex?
What is that?
They have made them disgruntled old men who, to be fair, go on their own character journey. But people who care about these legacy movies do not want to see their characters back at square one.
Hmm.
And I don't think this is a big problem, but I think it's just a good little side point to bring up. But overall, movie studios thinking they need to create sequels and legacy movies
Yeah.
and having a splurge with their budgets and it not
Hmm.
panning out. What do you think
Yeah.
about that?
And so I agree. While I don't hate the trope of putting the main character back at square one and letting them rebuild, the problem is it is redundant. It
Mm-hmm.
is old. And when it's done, and it's done, and it's done, and it's done again, again, and again, and again, to varying degrees of success. I think obviously the most controversial one being Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi.
Absolutely.
Some love it, some hate it. Some are okay with it, some don't like it.
Right.
But in my opinion, was the start of the disgruntled old guy.
Right.
Because, you know, hold on, I just got a loud ass ad. I'm so sorry. Um, uh, but like it was a weird glimpse because when we meet Han and Chewie back in the Force Awakens, Han and Chewie are not old disgruntled people. They're still just being Han and Chewie that we
Right.
remember them. But when we meet Luke, he's this old disgruntled guy, and in the context of the story, makes sense. But to many people, it's not what they wanted, and so
Correct.
that has an effect on it. And then we get Luke in the Mandalorian, and it's what everybody wanted.
Right.
So that sends a rift. Um, to me, when things are done repeatedly, it starts to make things lose luster, and it starts to become repetitive, and it starts to become boring.
Right.
That is the ultimate place that the movie business finds itself in. It's boring now. Movies from, I would say, man, honestly, up to the pandemic, up to right before the pandemic started, those movies felt most of the time unique, fun, risk, high risk, high reward.
Right.
Nowadays, from post pandemic, these movies are boring, They're stale, they're repetitive, they're the same. And I
Right.
think that is a large contributing factor to the huge, huge decline that we've seen in these movies. Very rarely post COVID do we see movies making $1 billion. Pre COVID, it was felt like it was happening every month.
Right.
Here we are post COVID, and I think what the only hasn't there been only like 3 movies to do it? I know Super Mario Bros. Did it.
No Way Home.
No Way Home did it. I think that honestly could be it. Oh,
Hmm.
Top Gun Maverick. Sorry.
Yeah, and Top Gun again. I want to bring up another thing with this, not just even legacy sequels, but like Disney's obsession now with making live action versions of their animated stories.
Yeah.
D- I, the reason these movies are loved is because of their animation. Lion King, you want to talk about a revolutionary film, like
Mm,
one of the more revolutionary films of the 90s? Dude, nobody asked for a live action now universe that they want to create with that. Nobody.
yeah. And
There's
I've
something
heard.
so there's something sacred about these stories, and when you start to commercialize it and just branch it out. And I could even say that with Star Wars. I've said it before. I would have been fine with just 6. I
Yeah.
would have been cool with it. I you know, now I like having more of it, but I would have been cool with 6.
Yeah.
Having these legacy sequels, these remakes, these all these things, and they coming from the big brands, Universal, Disney, Warner Brothers. It's lazy. It's lazy. They just think they think they
Yeah.
can get away with just slapping it on the table and to making money. And I
Mm,
hope they start to realize now that they cannot do that.
yeah. And I honestly think that these movies nowadays, they're the biggest. We see it now. We talked about you know we just talked about Indiana Jones flopping
Right.
really badly. I think another hilarious flop was The Flash.
Right.
That movie had a budget of after marketing $375 million
Yeah.
and only grossed in just under 250. It flopped.
Right.
And it's also important that like the big thing here is we need to define because what makes a film a flop is many things.
Right.
Uh, the box office earnings,
Right.
critic reception, fan reception. Boy, oh
Now,
boy.
okay, add so like a little. When I think of a flop, like I think of it in comparison to budget and marketing and hype as well.
Yes.
Uh, so like The Flash, for example, like 250 million is a lot of money for a film to make, but in context to how much it cost, right? It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah. It's in the negatives.
Right.
I look also hilariously Black Adam. $260 million for the budget, made 393. Sound yes, 393 is larger than 260, but it barely made $100 million.
Right. And by the way, that's the biggest success for DC in the last year.
Yeah, and this was a movie that was marketed heavily by The Rock and by all of the cast alike. The
Right.
Flash was literally, I mean, dick sucked by it seemed like every single celebrity. Everybody was saying it's the best superhero movie to ever exist.
Right.
Clearly, the box office didn't agree because it didn't make money. Black Adam made $393.3 million.
Right.
Another flop was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. $200 million budget, 476 in the box office. 476 is good, yes,
Is
but
this domestic or is this total?
this is total.
Okay.
Oh nope, sorry. This is domestic. Worldwide was 400. Oh wait, hold on. Nope, this is worldwide.
Okay.
Sorry. So
A flop by Marvel standards, I would say less than half a billion.
not even just a flop by Marvel standards, but flop by movie standards. When a movie is looking to not flop from a box office to budget comparison or ratio,
Right.
you should be looking to be doing a 1-to-3 ratio. You should be spending one amount and you should be doing and you
Right.
should be getting at least 3 times what you made. So
Right.
for Quantumania, they had a $200 million budget. For it to be a success, it should have made 600 million. And it made 150 million or 125 million less than what it needed to.
Yeah.
Black Adam, again, budget of 260 million, did not make anywhere near that 1-to-3 ratio. The Flash made nowhere near that 1-to-3 ratio. Indiana Jones made nowhere near that 1-to-3 ratio.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is we can all make the claim of superhero fatigue. We can make the claim of no faith in the DCU. We can make whatever you want to say. The thing is, though, is that of course it's not exclusive to DC. Marvel, of course, is going through it again. Quantumania. I think Guardians maybe. Hold on, let me.
Guardians did very well, but I will. Well, you look that up. I do want to say this: superhero fatigue. I think that's again another reason. The only big fucking movies that are coming out are superhero movies. I mean, literally look at the last 2 months. We've had Guardians, Across the Spider-Verse, and The Flash. Obviously, the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was going to do well, even though it's an anime. It's one of the most successful animated films of all time, right? It's not just a good movie; it's also Spider-Man. Guardians.
Past $600 million Across the Spider-Verse did. An animated movie.
Yes,
beat out almost 5 major marquee live action.
That's fantastic.
And I've looked it up. Guardians had a budget of 250 million and made 835 million.
Yeah, it was a smash and success. It was a good movie, but also it had characters people cared about in this timeline. The superhero fatigue thing to me is it's circumstantial. Depends on the character. It depends on the movie and the studio. I think with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I think it's a thing where it's Ant-Man. Let's be real here. It's Ant-Man. I love Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
It's Ant-Man. Now, you could make an exception. The Flash is one of the most well-known comic book characters of all time, but marketing.
It's not only that. It's like when I look at the Flash is the oddest of all of these flops to me.
Right.
On paper, it is a movie destined for success. It is a movie about the Flash, the first ever live-action Flash movie. Mm-hmm. That's one major check. It is telling one of the most iconic Flash storylines of all time in Flashpoint. Features Batman, features another Batman, features Supergirl, features potentially a variant of either Reverse Flash or Dark Flash or another major marquee speedster villain. All of that. Major. You would think on paper, major things that's like, like DC fans are going to eat this up. And then it was plagued with controversy that was handled so bad, it made any controversy that some people are going through online look nowhere near as bad as what Warner Bros. Was going through here.
Correct.
Warner Bros. Let's be real here. The DCU is doomed to fail the box office now. It's doomed. Any major or minor success is going to be major to them.
Right.
Because Black Adam was the start of this. Black Adam was the start of this spiral of false promises, false marketing, and all of these super controversial things. And the Flash continued, and the Flash suffered because of that. When we look at the Ezra Miller drama, I mean, how long was that drama going on with Ezra? forever.
Oh, multiple years.
And they opted to keep going.
Yeah.
They opted to just continue to star Ezra and keep on going rather than recasting like it was very like fans had asked for. Even if it cost the studio a bunch of money, in the long run would have been the right call.
Right.
Another thing was the CW Flash. Grant Gustin, where was he in this movie? You took somebody from his show and put him in, who, mind you, in the context of the show, is a is the speedster Zoom posing as another speedster. It's not
Right.
even it's not even the actual Flash. He's posing as somebody else.
Right.
But you don't put the actual Flash in there. The Flash, to me, is a case of one of the best on paper flops I've ever seen. Because on paper, phenomenal. In actuality, it was a flop. It was destined to flop. There was let's be real. This movie had nothing going for it.
Yeah.
It had what? Batman? That was it.
I also, it's just a thing where I just think the Ezra thing, I think it was just weird. It was like weird. Like they were paying these celebrities to say this shit. It's so obvious.
Yeah.
It's so blatantly obvious. When I heard James Gunn say this is the greatest comic book movie of all time, I literally laughed when I heard him say that. I'm like, this is a market employee. And I
Mm,
watched it. I'm like, this dude thinks his two Guardians films, Guardians or his three Guardians films are worse than that. He thinks that
mm,
because if he thinks that about his own shit and he thinks that was better, oh,
yeah.
that's not good.
And then
No, he said that because he's
yeah,
desperate. He's desperate.
yeah. And I
And
think I think
DC
there's
DC has they have the superhero fatigue problem because they don't have the formula like Marvel, but I also think Marvel in certain situations with characters that aren't really as well known and liked. If I'm a parent, I don't care about having my kids see Ant-Man.
mm,
Sorry, I want my kid to see Spider-Man, like who he sees in the store all the time, or the Hulk, or even
mm,
Iron Man now and Captain America. Uh,
yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things again. I brought this up during Secret Invasion. DC has had no revolutionary movies as of
Hmm.
late. Even the Batman, as much as I love that movie, was not revolutionary.
Right.
They are a constant stream of evolution, and DC is evolving backwards.
Hmm.
Just when we thought we were getting to the precipice, we went backwards. We started to go backwards. And it's funny because before James Gunn took over and that Peter guy,
Yes.
the
Saffron.
Saffron, the studio was worse than even Lucasfilm when it came to its reactionary reactions.
Absolutely.
They were even worse than them somehow, even worse. Um, and it's weird. It's weird. It's weird because when these films come out, we have to remember these films again marketed so heavily. Black Adam again, one of the most marketed films, is one of the it was in my opinion one of the funniest flops ever. Do you remember what the key line of From the Rock that he was advertising for the movie? What the
Uh
slogan of the movie is?
oh yeah, the hierarchy of the DC is about to change. Oh shit.
Yeah, the hierarchy of power in the DCU and the DCEU is about to change. That is your tagline of the movie. The hierarchy of power is about to change.
That was terrible.
And not only did it not change, the film again, it teased something that we all wanted so badly. Henry Cavill's return. And then what was it? they teased his return, and then what was it? 3 weeks later, he announced he was no longer coming back.
Yeah.
So then, what comes of the movie? The movie flops in the box office. Is 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. Um, let's hold on. Let me pull. Yeah. Hold on. But yeah, just uh, it's crazy that you know such these things that they're getting such heavy pushes. They're still flopping, and I think
Right.
I think it's for this, and we've seen it right now in another major franchise, the Call of Duty franchise, for years and years in both movies and all that, and for Marvel, for DC, for Call of Duty, and all these things. It was year after year, a game or a movie or whatever was being released, and people would eat it up,
Right.
hundreds of millions of dollars. And here we are at the recent Call of Duty release, and it was received so badly. The player base dropped off so quickly that the devs essentially gave up on the game.
Wow. Wow.
And that is what we are seeing here now. The fans are giving up on
Right.
these studios because Marvel has shown that when their backs are against the wall, they can make some great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But DC can't.
Right.
DC had that big gemstone that was the Batman. And then it had the Flash and Black Adam. And who knows, maybe Blue Beetle is a success.
It hasn't been marketed. It comes out in a month. I didn't even know that
Yeah.
until like a couple days ago. Shazam. Shazam to me is way worse of a flop. That movie is.
Oh my god, I forgot it came out.
Right. Right. Shazam is bad.
But it's not, honestly, I don't even think I want to label these flops as superhero fatigue. It's film fatigue. Another reason, and this it's not
I would disagree with that. I would say it's the lack of like interest in shit. Because I listened to a Tarantino interview the other day with one of my favorite comics, Tom Segura, and I was just watching it. And Tarantino's like, these are the only fucking movies coming out, and he's absolutely right. Like these are the old. Like, look at the last 13 years. And I'm not going to sit here and say superhero movies have ruined cinema because I only go to the cinema for these movies. Really, I think the last movie I went to besides this in the theaters was Top Gun Maverick. And this next month, I'm going to see. I'll see Mission Impossible. I'll see Oppenheimer and Barbie back to back. But this is what do you mean?
I am not going to see that movie, Barbie.
What? What do you mean?
Are you kidding me right now?
What do you mean?
I am not going to see that movie.
These are two. This is legendary. Double feature of Oppenheimer and Barbie with Ryan Gosling.
Keep telling these jokes.
Margot Robbie.
I'll send you the address to a comedy club. Tell your jokes there.
Are you gonna see Oppenheimer?
When it comes to streaming.
Really?
And that was the point I was getting into. Streaming.
Yeah.
Streaming. I mean, too. Let's talk about this. These box office flops. We hear that term again very loosely thrown around. Again, in my opinion, what I consider a flop is when that film is going again for that 1-to-3 ratio. You want to hit that third number. You want to hit that 3 times your budget, because that means you've made essentially double the profit. You've doubled what you spent. But streaming, it kills that. Let's be real. There's no point to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp when it came out. It went to streaming like a month and a half later.
Yeah.
There's no point to go see it. And so
if you can wait, you can wait, man.
Yeah. The difference is, and I say this apart from I think Morbius, No, you notice how Sony superhero movies don't flop? They're not on streaming service very quickly. They get put on very, very late. Like,
Or they're on the most random shit
or
ever.
yeah,
Wasn't
or
Venom on like Star or something
yeah,
stupid
yeah.
like that?
No Way Home was on Stars, and so yeah, when you put your shit on streaming so quickly, that just makes people be like, okay, so I could like to give you a realistic viewing, by the way, of a movie. I can either go spend $15 on a ticket and then probably go spend $15 on popcorn and drinks and food on the low end, by the way. If I want to get a small popcorn, one drink, one snack, $15. So that's what, $30 to go
Right.
see it. Never mind. Also, if you drive, so you got to pay for gas to get there and all that. But let's just say you're going on a full tank already, so we're not going to count gas. $30. Right, or I could spend. Oh, and I have to go somewhere too, by the way.
Right.
So, and I'm surrounded by random people who I don't know. So there's always the risk that you get that kind of theater experience where there's kids in there screaming their heads off, or you get a baby in there who's crying, or you get the guy who talks to you. Variable after variable after variable.
Correct.
And again, that's going by yourself. Never mind if you want to bring another friend, three other friends, four other friends, five other friends.
Hmm.
Well, that $30 trip went to almost 100 something dollars.
Right.
Or or I could pay $10 for a Disney Plus subscription and pay $20 for a pizza and a drink. And voila, me and my six friends can eat pizza and drink whatever drinks we want in the comfort of our own home for $30 rather than having to go spend $100 every month.
Right. My thing would be, and this is coming from somebody who was born basically on the side of a sports stadium. Not literally, but you know what I'm saying.
Hmm.
I grew up at football games of college, pro, high school, baseball fields, basketball stadiums. So I grew up being around
Yeah,
people.
absolutely.
And I think a big thing with stream is our generation loves it
Yeah,
because our generation, I think you would tend to agree, it's a little more introverted in just the way
yeah.
we communicate, right? We like to communicate. Obviously, this social media,
Mm,
they're not as extroverted or outgoing. I love the movie experience. I don't think there is anything.
yeah.
I don't know if you agree with this, but anytime I'm getting ready to go to a movie on a Friday night, I'm ecstatic. Like
Oh
I'm just
yeah,
excited. It's just
absolutely. It's what you look forward to.
it's a fun experience.
Mm,
Yeah, sometimes the crowd's not great. I get that, but that you're gonna get that sometimes in life.
mm,
Being in a cinema watching a movie,
yeah,
you could have. Now, listen. Some people have some great screening rooms, great movie rooms
yeah,
that they can watch at great television. Nothing to me will beat seeing a film on
yeah.
television. It just on a big screen. It just
Yeah,
never will. It
yeah.
never will.
The
Never
thing
will.
I equate it to, me and you, we watch our own respective sports.
Right.
There is something special about going to a basketball game, a pro wrestling event, a
Mm-hmm.
football game, a baseball game. There's something so special about being there rather
Right.
than just being at home.
Right.
But the problem with that, the problem with that is when you go to these events. I don't know about you, but like with using like wrestling events don't come to Columbus a whole lot, very
Right.
rarely, probably maybe 12 times in the year. And considering that these people are putting on like 300 something shows a year, like across two major companies. Like it's very rare that shows come here. So when they're here, it's an event. It's a thing that, man, for a month I am looking forward to every single day. Like I'm ecstatic. It's one of those things that, man, oh, if anything's gonna go bad, please go bad now and not then.
Right. Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And we say that you say this to me all the time. Star Wars had that same aura.
Right. Absolutely.
And now that aura is gone.
Right.
Marvel, I bet, I know me and you, we were late to the party. But Marvel,
Yeah.
but even when we came back for a large respect, kind of had that event feel.
Yeah.
But now it's gone because
I don't feel it anymore. I don't feel it when I go to the movie theater. I
the
don't.
the market is saturated. It went from feeling like, man, I love watching these films to, man, this is becoming a job.
Yeah.
And when you like these movies again, they went from being these major worldwide events to being just another movie at the
Hmm.
theater. And that is why these films become such flops. They've lost that event aura. It's gone. It's one of those things that if you were to tell me, hey, we're gonna give you an option, we're gonna say Endgame or Secret Wars is gonna release right now or this Saturday night. It's gonna release. You're gonna go see it Saturday,
Okay.
or you are going to go see a wrestling pay per view. I'm gonna take the pay per view a
Okay.
million out of 10 times because it's special, something I'll never forget. Secret Wars, I can just watch it whenever I want. I'll just wait a month and a half for it to go on Disney Plus, and I'll rewatch it then, and I'll watch it then.
Okay.
I don't know if you feel that way. Maybe
I'm not quite there yet with that extreme. Like a Secret
but
Wars, I don't think I'm there yet.
but I'm saying though, like for me personally, like again,
Captain Marvel, yeah, sure.
I know you technically you got more, like you watch more sports than I do. So sports events for you are just a Tuesday. But for me,
Well, I wouldn't. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I, I mean, to me, there's obviously like variabilities to it, right? Because if I'm at a high school game, it's not
well, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I'm talking about like if it's a major marquee game.
if it's a pro, like when I go to college games, college football in the fall, that's fantastic. Like that's
Yeah,
great. There's nothing beats like a college football game in the fall.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nothing beats a pro baseball game in the
Exa-
summer. But if I'm
exactly.
going to a minor league game downtown, yeah, sure, it's
Absolutely.
nothing because I've
But
done
like
it so many times.
yeah,
I get what you're saying.
that's what I'm
I
saying
get
though.
what you're saying, 100%. No,
Like
I get it.
with these major events, you always would choose the event because there is no going to it again. It was
Yeah,
here then, it was there
I
only
get
then,
it.
and it's not coming back for who knows how long.
Right.
And again, these movies have lost that.
Question: if I asked you, let's say, when No Way Home was coming out, if I told you Secret Wars was coming out in 2021, would you choose Secret Wars or the WWE? When Marvel is at, I would say, post Endgame, still at a very high level of hype, would you choose Secret
I
Wars?
I think at that point I would have taken No Way Home, but that's also because like No Way Home had that aura. It was an
Right.
event. It was
That's what
an
I'm saying.
it was an event that even though we weren't publicly told that Andrew and Toby were going to be in it, we knew. So
Right.
there was special. You wanted to see how they
Right.
did it. You wanted to see
Yeah.
how could they pull it off.
Right.
But like Black Widow, Shang-Chi, as much as I love
Oh,
that
don't,
movie,
yeah, don't disrespect
as
Shang-Chi like
much as
that.
I
It's
love
good.
that movie, listen, come on now. You're gonna try and tell me if a playoffs game for the NBA came through and you had to go choose between that and seeing Shang-Chi for the first time, you would have rather gone see Shang-Chi
Well, it
first?
depends. Like if the Celtics are like, let's say, if it's a Celtics playoff game, I'm probably choosing the Celtics playoff game. Yeah, for sure.
Motherfucker, you better start being more realistic with me. It depends.
No,
You
it
go.
does. I'm serious, Alex. I watch
You
a lot of sports. I
you
don't.
go.
No,
You
because
go.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I would say I'm not saying I'm good. I'm trying to word this best I can. I think you're more involved with like comic book movies than I am. I
Sure.
I think you're involved more in this genre than I am. This space,
Mm-hmm.
this area. So like for me, the comic book movies and this stuff is
Mm-hmm.
like an offshoot. It's something I do once every day or once a week. I talk about it and I go to the movies like once a month for it. That's exciting to me because it's
Mhm.
different, right? So it's a little different for me.
Sure, yeah,
Um, I can flick on a game. I will literally, after we're done, as I'm sleeping, I will have a baseball game on here.
sure.
So it's not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I to a point, sure. But I think also though, it's like I think the best way that I can think about it, and I was
And I
just
think
thinking about it.
wrestling is WWE and that type of stuff is more of like an event. That's more spectacle. It's more of a spectacle sport. I think you
Sure,
would
yeah,
agree.
yeah. It's called they
Baseball
call
is like baseball. You just go and watch. Basketball, you
yeah.
just go and watch.
My thing though about it, and it's like for me personally, again, using again wrestling as
Right.
my thing. You know, there is no such thing as you can just go tomorrow.
Right.
They're
Yeah, I
not going
get
to be here
that.
tomorrow. They're going to be in Connecticut. They're going to be in Iowa. They're going to be in Utah. They're going to be in Washington. They're going to be
Yes.
somewhere else. They're not going to be
Right.
here tomorrow.
Right. Yeah.
Versus, you know, Black Widow. It's gonna be at the theater
I
tomorrow.
get it. I get it.
It's one of those things that again, maybe it's different for you because you're more, we're switched right here. I'm more in this space of
Right.
the comics world than you are. Versus you're more into sports versus me. And so
Yeah.
I bet again, I bet if we were at the equal level, who knows what we
Right.
would say.
Absolutely.
So again, it's like and then I think the other difference is though, it's like it's not even that following wrestling is like following a fight, movies, a real life movie, basically.
Right.
It's more or less, I follow one sport, so
Yes.
everything feels like an event. So I bet if I could almost guarantee if you only followed one sport, and even the sports like that you follow, they got off season. Wrestling is every week. There is no off
Right.
season. And so it's like I don't know. Maybe that is a little bit of a contributing some X factors.
Basketball, baseball, hockey, football, tennis, golf.
Oh my god, how many sports do you follow?
And I don't like. I mean, I know like I can like have full on conversations about them. It's like
Right.
it's not a religious like it's impossible to be religious about
Oh
six
yeah.
leagues. It's just
Oh yeah.
unrealistic
Absolutely.
at the college and pro level. So that yeah, that's just. But I want to go back to the movie thing and make a point. I get excited when people like Tom Cruise are talking about how excited they are to have films in cinema. You know, why are you
I'm
shaking your
saying
head?
I'm saying I agreed with you, but now after the Flash, I don't trust those people anymore.
Really,
Uh,
but Tom Cruise, yeah, he genuinely cares about filmmaking. Again, you could say what you want about his films, but like Mission
Tom Cruise also
Impossible.
listen. Tom Cruise also said the Flash was the best superhero movie ever.
Okay, he was. I don't know why he said that. Sometimes people don't say the best stuff.
He was paid off.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see Oppenheimer and Barbie back to back.
Yeah, it's. I'm honestly really excited to see which movie does better. I feel
I
like
ooh,
I
I
feel
think
like
Barbie.
I feel like it's gonna be Barbie. I feel like Barbie's gonna be that sleeper movie that's gonna secretly be the
Well,
film
no,
of the
I
year.
just think Barbie has a bigger audience.
I wouldn't. Mm, I wouldn't even say
Oppenheimer is rated R.
it is rated. Yeah, so it technically does have that more available audience, but it's Christopher Nolan, so it's
Oh
like
yeah, I mean we already know it's gonna be a bop. Like it might it's gonna be great. I'm
yeah.
just worried though because like he keeps marketing it and he keeps saying you're gonna be devastated leaving the theater. I'm like, am I gonna be like shattered and then walk into like just slowly walk into Barbie with my head down?
They're gonna be like, "You come from Oppenheimer too? Hell yeah, hell yeah!" But no,
And
I don't know. It's like
I'm excited for that. I'm
yeah,
sorry, I haven't been, but like, are we only gonna get like two of those movies a year? Because I feel like that's where we're at.
but but I hear you say you're excited, but they're not superhero movies
Right.
because you know why? That market is flooded.
Right.
It's
Yeah. Absolutely.
flooded again, and I say this. I say again, all this to say, it's. I genuinely don't believe it's a superhero problem. I think it's a superhero market problem
Right.
because I'll tell you this: The Boys is probably more watched. more successful than probably any of the Disney Plus Marvel shows we've seen.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
and the reason why is it is unique. It
Right.
is it is something that the genre has needed. Again, it is revolutionary. These Disney Plus shows 9 out of 10 times are not.
Correct.
And I even say this revolutionary evolutionary comparison. All that to say, these Marvel shows are revolutionary in their space. They are not revolutionary to the film world. They're not revolutionary
Uh
to the comic book genre, not to the overall movie genre.
I would just say we've never seen a studio have this type of dominance.
Yeah, and what's funny is when that dominance, we know. Look, COVID was no joke, um, and it's great. It's honestly kind of invigorating to see these studios at post pandemic, man. They don't know what to do because they had a formula that worked. And let's be real, pre-pandemic, if you were a Marvel movie, you had like a 95% chance of being a success. Even if you were
You were
bad.
probably going to be $1 billion movie if you were a
Mm,
2017 through 2019 movie, probably.
yeah. Even
Captain
if
Marvel
you
made $1 billion. Think about that.
yeah, even if you were a bad movie, you had a very good chance of being a successful movie. Now, post pandemic, people care much more about their money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
That
again, it's one of those things that, in my opinion, I think movie fatigue more than anything, more than superhero fatigue, movie fatigue. You know, and also again, streaming just as a whole, streaming and like period, end of sentence is an almost I would almost guarantee is 25% of the reason where of like why some of these movies aren't making as much streaming because it's not only just these movies are going to come to streaming, but shows are being streamed. So like, you know, with some people, like let's say Stranger Things was being released on that weekly format. Do you think if people had a choice between going to see the finale of Stranger Things or going to go see, I don't know, Thunderbolts? What do you think they're going to go see on that Friday night?
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. Because Stranger Things was revolutionary. Do we think Thunderbolts is going to be revolutionary?
No.
No. And it's just one of those things that, you know, streaming is one of those things that has taken the world by storm, by absolute storm. Again, we see it right now. It's a major crutch of the writer's strike. It's a major point of the writer's strike. And now I wonder, how is the writer's strike going to affect, these movies? And and the actor's strike.
Actor strike. Yeah, it's definitely gonna hurt it. I just don't want to get to a point because I will always prefer the movie theater when I first see a film.
Absolutely.
I don't want it to get to a point, and it's probably going to happen in our lifetimes where the movie theater is gone.
Yeah. It's one of those things that nowadays, you know, these Disney Plus shows have shown you can get away with making lower budget stuff and turning a profit.
Which is terrible.
It's terrible.
It's
bad.
disgusting. I think it's disgusting.
It's bad business ethic and it's bad morals. Like again, I guarantee you, every single Disney Plus show that has been released, whether it's Marvel, Star Wars, Disney, Pixar, whatever, have all turned profits. We see the budgets differences from the shows to the movies, and it's insanity.
Yeah.
It's
No, the
insanity.
movie budgets are 3 or 4 times higher.
And they're making probably roughly around the same amount.
It's just to me, it's ridiculous to me. Um,
Yeah.
and
Just
it's just honestly, it's the way it's gonna go. But um,
hey, who knows? Maybe these actor strikes gonna do it. Maybe, or unless we got to get them YouTubers just make Avengers 5.
let's do it, man.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's just I don't know. The the film the film stratosphere is really cloudy right now.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off, but I honestly thought the streaming thing would take over quicker. There's been problems with that too, right? I mean, the Netflix is a mess, kind of. Disney
Yeah.
Plus isn't growing as rapid as they wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, they
The
brought Iger back because Iger needed to fix that shit. He needed to fix that
yeah.
mess.
The thing with the thing with the streaming problem, because streaming is a problem. Like let's cut that chase. Streaming is a double edged sword problem, because
Right.
from one end it's very good. You have a one stop shop. If you want to see all of these projects, just go here.
Yeah.
But then again, you're kind of go to that writer strike problem. You're kind of taking away from that writer's potential to make money.
Hmm.
It's one of these things right now that these films are flopping also because of their budgets.
Yeah.
Because listen, $200 million is a lot for a movie. $300 million is a lot. 375 million is a lot.
And estimates have that probably closer to the 4, even 5
Yeah.
number.
So when you make your budgets that high, and when your budget, by the way, is not on writers, not on assistants, not on props, not on any of that, it is on special effects, it is on AI, it is on actors.
Not to mention, I the ridiculous turnover time in the industry. Uh,
Mhm.
the special effects industry,
Yeah.
especially, we give a
What's
lot of shit to movies CGI, but
yes.
I've kind of been more compassionate here
Mhm.
lately,
Oh yeah.
because the VFX teams just have no time. It's just unrealistic to make
The
it look as good
yeah,
as it can.
and the problem is is again, I don't think there's fatigue. I think it's oversaturation, where again these Marvel. I mean, come on. Let's remember what Marvel was like in 2021 and 2. It was every month there was something new. And
Right.
what was a constant recurring theme? Oh, the CGI looked really bad. Oh, the writing is not really good. Oh, man, it's just not doing it for me. Because what happens is when you try to shit out 20 projects in less than 2 years, people don't want it.
Right.
It suffers.
Quality goes down.
Yeah, and what happens is when they because ultimately these shows and these movies they're trying to reduce their budget, and as a as a result, it's increasing their budget because now what they're having to do is they're having to do extensive rewrites without writers. They're having
Hmm.
to de-age actors. They're having to resurrect actors through
Correct.
AI, and it's costing these films hundreds of millions of dollars. And so go figure, your movie that cost $375 million was not going to succeed. You set yourself up for it.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
that overall, I think those points say that the movie industry has lost its event luster, streaming overall, because now there's no point to go to the theater anymore,
Right.
and the market's saturated.
Yeah.
There's too much. There's too much. I guarantee you this. Here's a good bet. Let's say the film industry took one whole year. No movies were allowed to release in the theaters. We'll say from what's today's date? The 6th.
6th.
We'll say from July 6th of this day forward until July 6th of next year, no more movies are allowed to release. How much money do you think the next or the first Marvel movie back to theaters would make?
It would make good money, I would say.
It would probably not $1 billion, but because it is Captain or the Marvels that we are going back to, but
Right.
it would make more money because people have that event feel. It's time to go back to the theaters.
Yeah.
It's time to go back.
That's what made the original MCU so special, right? Only two
Yeah.
movies a year.
Only two movies made it an event. And what's great is those two movies were so sophistically placed in the year. Beginning of summer, end of the year. It was perfect. It was perfect. Everything down to the last minute detail was perfect. Because guess what? There was an event. Guess what? It went from November when the movie released to and then we had two
May.
months of down yeah, so 2 months of downtime, and then from February to May it was heavy push of this movie, heavy push, and then we get 2 months of downtime from May to July, and then heavy push for this November movie,
Right.
and the cycle continued, and it always worked.
Yep.
And then the pandemic came, and then it was show was being released, no marketing until 3 weeks before it came out.
Right.
And that's it. And then these people wonder why their stuff isn't, you know, isn't
Yeah.
succeeding. Who would have thought you only give your show 3 weeks to be known to the public? It doesn't work. Who would have thought? I wish I knew that sooner.
Yeah. I mean, I'll get my closing thoughts here. I think fundamentally it's three reasons. It's the oversaturation of one genre, the lack of new ideas,
Mm-hmm.
legacy sequels, remakes,
Mm-hmm.
and streaming. So I think that
Wow.
I just think those are the big reasons.
But what of those do you think is that higher contributor? I, to my core, think it's streaming, because I think
I honestly think it's the one genre thing because I think there are still people out there that want to see
yeah,
other shit.
fair enough.
I,
Yeah.
I truly believe this because I talk about my dad. My dad's not, asked me about this stuff, but he's not really into it. And
Yeah.
he saw stuff for Oppenheimer. He's like, "Oh, that looks really interesting." It's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Yeah, I want to go see it too." He's like, "Wow, that's great to hear and stuff because it's not like, for example, we get like maybe one or two good sports movies a year. There was a
Mm-hmm.
good one that came out this year. It was called Air. It was the
Yeah.
story about Michael Jordan's shoe creation. Matt Damon, great movie. Uh, it's just, but wasn't like talked about. It's like talked about for like in the sports world for a while, but like in the general movie audience, I'm like nobody's talking about this. Is a good movie, and it's just I just think it's oversaturated. I think superhero movies need to slow down. I've been a big advocate of that. I still
Mm-hmm.
want to see them. I just think they need to
Yeah.
slow down a little bit.
And yeah.
But
And
there's
look.
no sign of that. So,
No. But the more they keep pushing, the more they're going to keep flopping.
and maybe it'll change. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Again,
got to course correct at some point.
yeah. And it's one of those things, though, that it's just like, it proves that superhero movies honestly are the problem here. Because as I'm seeing right here as I have the Black Adam box office numbers. Underneath it, I see Shazam Fury of the Gods, $133.8 million.
That's crazy.
And you want to know what I see right next to it? Avatar Way of the Water, $2.32 billion.
Yeah. One of the biggest movies of all time.
And I see next to that, I see the Batman, $771 million. So it proves that the overabundance of superhero works. Sometimes there are those shining gems in the bunch that stick out, and you grab them and you gravitate towards them. But then you notice how Top Gun, Super Mario, and Avatar,
Hmm.
I would say three not obscure genres, obviously not. Nintendo, Avatar, and Top Gun, they are franchises, but such more innovative than Shazam, Fury of the Gods, or
Right.
Black Adam, or The Flash, or Quantum Mania, or Black Widow, or Eternals.
Yeah.
So, Just saying. There. It's not this thing that it's impossible to make $1 billion. No Way Home proved it. Avatar proved it. Top Gun, Super Mario Bros. Proved $1 billion is very easy to do. Because wasn't No Way Home the fastest grossing movie to hit $1 billion?
I
Something
think
like that.
so. Yeah,
Something like that.
I think so. I believe it was. Yeah.
Those are my closing. That's my closing argument to this case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck superhero movies. I'm joking.
Fuck them, but we talk about them.
I love talking about them, but they are the problem.
Do we want to talk a little bit? We'll go over some news. Why don't we? Huh?
Speed news.
We'll just do a little. Here we go. Shang-Chi, Simu Liu. What's the status of Shang-Chi 2? Was told it would follow Avengers. He's referring to Kane Dynasty, but keeps pushing back due to circumstances beyond my control. I hope to have more concrete news to share soon. This makes sense. We knew we were going to see a Shang-Chi sequel. It being in between Kane Dynasty and Secret Wars makes sense. I personally think Shang-Chi, top 3 movie we've gotten so far in the multiversal saga. Maybe the best made besides Guardians. What do you think about this? Good. Thumbs up. Like it.
Cool.
I hope it happens. Oh shoot, I didn't want to do that. Damn it. Some other cool things I wanted to share. What else is cool?
Hey, I got news on my screen too.
What's up?
Benedict Cumberbatch says he's filming an MCU project as Doctor Strange next year.
Yeah, let me get that up. Can I get that up?
There. It was there and then it wasn't.
Wait, did I go by it?
Keep going up. Nope, up. Oh, I think there. No,
that's not it.
Oh,
that was something different.
Oh, no, but it was kind of
it, but Robert Downey Jr.
I have it pulled up, by the way.
Oh, if you want, here.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Hold on.
You can do it. We'll have you do it. Oh, this is a mess, folks.
Okay, don't share these tips again. People, don't reset your computer. It's just not worth it anymore. Hold on. Let me remove all these tabs. People think I'm a freaking madman. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Oops. That one. There we go. Bam. Benedict Cumberbatch says he's coming to film an MCU project next year.
I don't know what it is.
I don't either, because I'm trying to think what would be filming next year. Agatha?
My thing is, it's like, he shouldn't even be like he has to deal with the shit in his own movie. He's kind of gone.
Okay. I'll just
yeah, you want to
copy this link just for later. Anyways,
he's kind of gone, right? He's like,
I'm not seeing any like. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what he would be. I don't know what he's here for. I'm happy he's back.
Well, it was rumored that Kane Dynasty would film at the start of the end of next year, so maybe that, but I don't know.
I don't know. Kind of hard to film Kane Dynasty without King Conqueror.
Also, kind of hard to be in Kane Dynasty when you're in a different dimension. I mean, he can leave it, but what else do I want to share here? No, I don't want to share Loki season 2 episode 2 spoilers. This.
Oh yeah, cool. First look at Ryan. Oh, unique.
I like it.
Sure.
It's a little different than his first 2 movies.
It's a little too bright of a red, but it's okay.
Really? You think so? A lot of people are messing with it.
I just think it's maybe just a tad bit too bright. That could be lighting. Who knows?
Okay.
You gotta see it. Gotta see it before I judge it.
Okay, that's fair.
I think it looks good.
What else? Oh, there was something about Armor Wars that I wanted to look at.
Is
We
that
can go.
even a thing? Why don't you Control F and type in Armor Wars?
I know it's I have it, and I'm not gonna be able to find it now.
Technical difficulties.
There we go. Thank you, Alex.
Armor
Uh,
Wars.
so this comes to us from the Cosmic Circus. They're very good. They have I'm looking up their accuracy rating right now. 82%.
It's not bad.
That's really good for them. They're very good with their stuff over there. Um, Armor Wars is going to release probably after Fantastic Four, so sometime in 2025. Val is going to be the main villain. She's going to put a team together that is comprised of, oh my god, um, Hammer. What's his first name?
Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer is going to be creating a team of Iron Man villains with some technology, and that's kind of the plot of the film. Kind of thoughts.
Didn't know this was still happening.
You didn't know it was still happening.
No, I thought it got canceled.
It's supposed to be set up from Secret Invasion. Excited if Val is the main villain. I really like her. Well, I don't really like her character, but she's interesting as kind of the evil Nick Fury. I still kind of hope she's setting up the Dark Avengers or something like that. Something interesting. Um,
Look, I will be maybe interested, but if Rhodey's a scroll, I won't care. It's not Rhodey.
Also, question: do you think that Rhodey can carry a film on his own?
No.
Really?
He can hardly carry a scene that he's in when he's a side character.
I mean, I'm intrigued because I like the Iron Man, that whole sector. It's also heavily implied in that article that Ree Williams would be alongside Don Cheadle, and I think that would make a lot of sense. Probably get some more John Favreau.
Maybe
Um,
some Happy
yeah,
Hogan.
little Pepper Potts maybe.
Don't hold your breath.
Um,
I honestly
we'll
wouldn't
see.
be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if she never comes back.
Well, I'm gonna guarantee that we'll get an AI Tony.
I will cringe.
They're not gonna make that a movie and not have an AI Tony.
I will cringe so bad if that.
If he's a Jarvis type of thing, I would love it.
I will cringe so bad.
You'll be mad at that?
Let the man stay dead. Let him stay
No,
dead.
but it's still him being dead, but that's such a Tony thing to have him be an AI.
He had his AI moment with Edith. Even dead, he is the hero.
He could have another one with Rhodey.
No. It's not even going to be the real Rhodey.
We'll see. Okay. I've got nothing else left.
I keep yawning. I thought this was supposed to be an energy drink. This shit sucks.
What an excellent show. Do you got anything else you want to talk about or say?
I'm looking, making sure.
I think that was the big stuff.
Karen Sony says Deadpool 3 won't be toning things down and is hard R.
I wouldn't even call the first two hard R.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
like
I don't,
couple dudes.
Yeah. Like, I didn't. I think the rating of rated R is starting to lose some meaning.
I'm not a big gore guy. I don't like it. It's gross to me. And I'm like, Deadpool's like, okay.
Yeah. When I think rated R superhero, I think The Boys. I think Invincible. I don't think Deadpool.
The Boys is just like weird. Like
The Boy. Listen, I will always say
Hero-gasm. Like
There are 3 moments in my head, or no, there are 4 moments in my head. when I think of something, when I think I've genuinely been scarred by a TV show or a movie, Hero Gasm, the whole episode,
Oh my
A Train running through Robin in the first episode of The Boys.
god.
Can't stop the A Train.
Uh,
When uh, Invincible's dad killed all of the superheroes,
oh my god, that was brutal. Yeah.
and the beginning of honestly, these tie for 4 and 5, but the first episodes of Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer, I was scarred. I
Wait,
was
oh,
scarred by
gosh,
those
I
shows.
haven't watched The Boys in a while. I wasn't scarred, but I was like, what the fuck has happened? Remember when Homelander was basically just beating it to the whole city?
Yep, he can do whatever the fuck he wants, bro. He can do whatever
That
he wants. Oh my god, another thing from The Boys out forever will scar me was what's it called? Oh my god, I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh my
no,
god,
Hero Gas was just,
Translucent's death.
oh no,
That
that's
just scarred me. I was
that
like,
was disgusting.
no, dude. It literally, for that week, I was like, wow, new irrational fear discovered. Just being blown up from a bomb being put inside me.
It's
Disgusting.
disgusting. It's gross.
And oh my god, people lurking in the bathroom and you just don't know.
Yeah, no, Hero Gasm was bad.
Yeah.
And also just I mean, episode's fine. It was just like, remember how they were marketing? I don't know if you remember this. When they were marketing it, they were like hyping it up. I was like, it's just
Hero Gasm?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, and then I'm like, this is like, why?
I have no clue. It was magical though. Scarring, but magical.
I was like, okay, I can't. It was interesting.
It was something. It was something.
I mean, I wasn't even scarred by this, but when Homelander killed the Deep, bro, I was like,
Mhm. No, oh my god. What it was for me though was I remember when I was a little kid, to go a little story time. I could not watch the last like 20 minutes of Revenge of the Sith.
really?
Watching Anakin be burned alive, I remember gave me genuine nightmares for like months.
Dude, I could not watch the beginning of Return of the Jedi. I just thought it was disgusting.
I could not.
That's so
do it.
funny.
I'm just, oh my god, dude, it freaked me out. Revenge of the Sith.
That's a fear, being burned.
I mean, it was losing limbs.
Yeah, bro. Like,
Losing-
bro was on fire so much that he literally lost his ability to walk, bro. He just like,
I also remember when I was young and dumb, still kind of am, but oh my god, when I remember when I first saw the meme of I can't believe they killed Hayden Christensen from the movie. I was like, I can't believe they do that.
like the ones where they say, what great dedication by Christopher Lee having his head chopped off.
Yeah, I always felt for them. I was like, they actually died.
Imagine if they did that with actors. Just actually just
Hey, you die in the movie, you die in real life.
Kate Winslet, you were gonna literally almost freeze to death in this scene. Leo, you were gonna die in the freezing cold water of the Atlantic Ocean for the Titanic, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be so funny.
Just make sure when you go into the Titanic, make sure you don't take your knockoff Xbox controllers.
Oh no. Oh god.
Oh my god.
We gotta end this. Okay, guys. Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching as always. May you stay burdened with glorious purpose, and may the force be with you as always. We'll be back next week for an episode number 4 review of Secret Invasion. Peace out, everyone.